We've gotten fat, lazy, and complacent. Oh, we do a magnificent job in intercepting and interpreting electronic intelligence, and our surveillance satellites do amazing things from orbit. There's no nation or organization on Earth that can match our technical prowess in recording or intercepting electronic intelligence. But that's been our problem. Most everything's been done from here or in orbit. For example, let's say you're an intelligence officer, newly assigned to Langley. What kind of career path are you going to choose? One that puts you in a comfortable cubicle during the day and home by 6 p.m. every night with wifey and the kids and Little League games and ballet recitals on the weekend? Or a career path that sends you to some third world country with little electricity, no hot water, food that gives you the runs every other day, and unfriendly types who might walk up to you in a crowded marketplace and put a 9mm round through the back of your head? What choice would you pick? I see your point, Brian said, but I'm not one to choose living in a third world hellhole either, just so you know. And we don't intend to send you anywhere like that. She leaned closer into him, wondering briefly why she found that pleasant, and said, "What we need from you are your skills, detective, your street smarts, as they say. For the most part, our little group will be made up of people who are quite skilled in examining intelligence, interpreting intelligence, and presenting recommendations. What we're weak on are people with the smarts to ask the tough and embarrassing questions, not to put up with any bullshit and to go with their hunches. Your service record is admirable, Brian." He looked uncomfortable with the praise. "There are others who've done better. I've been lucky a couple of times." "Perhaps, but you have the combination we need, and luck is always a wonderful commodity, which is why you're here." He stayed silent. She said, "And what happened to your father? Well, we also thought that—" Adriana was surprised at his response. He quickly said, "Please leave my father out of this, all right? This is my job. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be personal. Understand?" She nodded, and he said, "Thing I learned right out of the academy, you start to take things personally out on the street, your thinking gets fucked up. You don't see what's there, you make the wrong decisions. You're thinking with your heart or your balls and not your head, and that'll get your ass in a sling soon enough." Adriana allowed herself a small smile. This tough guy was going to work out just fine. She said, "Thanks for the anatomy lesson, Brian. Any other questions?" "I'm sure I'll have a shitload once we get going." "So, you're aboard?" He nodded. "Oh, yeah, like I had a choice, but still." "Yes?" He looked around again, like he was afraid that he was being listened to by the constant stream of guests and hotel workers walking through the lobby. "It's just that I couldn't believe what I was hearing during those orientation sessions about the level of authority you have, and the oversight." Her hands were moistening as she remembered the very first time her responsibilities had been outlined. "Jesus Christ," she had said to herself, "how can I possibly do this? How can I?" "Because you have to," the answer had come back to her. "There are no other options." "We'll talk about it in more detail later, Brian, when we're not in a hotel lobby. But what we'll be doing will be perfectly legitimate, perfectly legal. The proper findings have been reviewed and signed by the President and congressional leaders from both parties. The oversight will be kept at a minimum. There's going to be a lot of trust put in us and our abilities, and with that trust comes responsibility. Responsibility to protect our people." His look seemed to have hardened again, especially when it comes to killing terrorists, suspected or otherwise, without benefit of arrest or trial. "We protect our people, Brian, whatever it takes. Do you have a problem with that?" There was a pause, and then he sat back in the comfortable chair in a comfortable hotel lobby in the most comfortable nation on earth. "No," he said, "I don't have a problem with that." And with that, Adriana kept her emotions in check. He was on board. He would do his job quite well, and that was the best news she had this day.